Severin Films brings a saucy slice of 70s adult film to Blu-ray with the 1975 film Don't Change Hands, aka Change pas de main. That's really probably terrible French pronunciation, but that's how it's, or as an American, Change Pass de Main. This is, as I said, a Blu-ray, 90 minutes long, directed by Paul Vecchiali with Myriam Mézières. Sorry about the pronunciation on these. Françoise Giret, Hélène Surgère, and Howard Vernon. If you've ever watched a Jeff Franco movie, you know Howard Vernon. So the story goes a little something like this. I'm not going to get into any gory details. An elderly adult, older lady, let's say, who is a society affluent person, calls a female private eye who shows up dressed in the trademark, trench coat and fedora to her home to show her a film she has been sent by way of blackmail of her son engaging in group adult activities, shall we say, sans clothing. And these people are saying, if you don't want this to get out, you need to send us money. So the dowager, as it were, asks this female private eye, who's portrayed by Myriam Mézières, to investigate who is doing this. Find my son, get him back, and stop these blackmailers. I'm not going to pay him a filthy dime. So she works her way into. I'm not going to tell you the whole story. It's adult film. It actually does have a story and really good acting in it. She works her way through hook and crook to find this basically underground club where these people engage in group activities, but also it's the headquarters for the people who engage in blackmail, basically luring people into this club to get them into situations that they film and then send to people who would prefer not to have other people see the film. So it's a pretty good movie. You think about adult film, and in the 60s, well, in the 60s, they were pretty much loops. They really weren't much, or they were softcore movies. But when you got into the hardcore territory, which this movie sort of does, but not really, you do see all the parts, and you see the parts doing things, but you don't see fruition, shall we say. It's not as explicit as you would think if I say it's an adult film or it's an X-rated film or whatever. It's from an era where there still was interest in telling a story. There still was interest in having decent acting and cinematography and things like that in these films. And this was a French filmmaker who'd done a lot of work and apparently was hired by an adult company to make an adult film. And he was like, okay, yeah, but I'm going to make it my way. You're going to get the action you want, but there's also kind of going to be a story in here. So it's actually well made. It's well made and it's interesting, and there's drama and there's good acting and things like that. It's, as I said, it's not crazy explicit, but you see things that you wouldn't see in a non-X-rated film, let's say. The transfer looks amazing. It looks sharp. It's colorful. It almost looks like it was shot yesterday, minus hairstyles and clothes and things like that. The extras: Le Cinephile, an appreciation by Knife plus Heart director Jan Gonzalez. That's 18 minutes. He's a big fan of this filmmaker. Elsewhere Man, author Matthew Orlean on the life and impact of Paul Vecchiali. That's 28 minutes. Noir d'Amour, screenwriter Noel Simsolo on this film. That's 24 minutes. That was the man who wrote the film. So he talks about working with the director. He talks about how this film got made, and he talks about being one of the actors in the film in a non-explicit role. A Remedy for Chaos, a conversation with actress Myriam Mézières. That's 19 minutes, and that's the lead actress in the film, talking about her life and career and this film and how it all worked out. And it's fascinating because she's an actress who is in, theoretically, an adult film, but she's not an adult film actress. And she talked about how she's like, yes, they'll be naked, but I'm not going to be involved with all that. The people they brought in to do that were people who normally did that. And it's just interesting to hear how the rules were laid out and how it was like being in one of those movies, but you're not going to participate in that stuff, but you're going to be real close to it. The Prodigal Son, a conversation with actor Jean-Christophe Bouvet. He's the man who is the impetus for the story. He's the man who's seen in the film at the beginning and is sort of trapped in this world and what's going on. Amazing interview with this guy he's a no BS guy, has a very good sense of humor about it. He said, in this interview, it's 11 minutes. He says, there's no way they would ever, this film would be unmakeable. You couldn't make this today, and they certainly never could be seen or released in America. And then he's like, what? They're releasing this in the United States? He was shocked that this movie was coming out here, which it is, and that's what I'm talking about now. And then there's a re-release trailer by Nathan Boone that is a minute and a half. So, the package. We have the slipcase. Nothing explicit here, I don't think. If there is, I'll edit it. Slipcase from Severin, front and back, classy. The slipcase, what does it do? I gotta check it first. Slipcase, okay, slipcase slips to reveal the cover, front and back, and that's our female private eye right there. Crack it open, and it's nothing fancy, just the disc there. So this was good. I mean, your mileage may vary, and you know, it's how interested you are in watching a French adult film from the 70s, but Severin puts out all kinds of interesting things, and this is one of them. They often will dip into the saucier realm of cinema and treat them really with a lot of respect and a lot of insight and intellect. And the film itself, I thought was decent while I watched it. It was interesting. I'd never seen something quite like that before. But the extras really broadened my mind into who the people were who made this, what the scene was like at the time, and what other things they had done. So available now on Blu-ray from Severin Films is 1975's saucy French kind of noir thriller, Don't Change Hands.